workers in the country and share what's being done to prioritize local employment.
The Bahamas Tonight Northern Edition starts now.
I could not be more honored to lead this team of competent, talented, extraordinary Bahamians, most led by women.
Good evening and welcome to the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. I'm Ramiko Knowles. Thanks so much for tuning in. Topping news, in an exclusive interview with our ZNS News team, the Chief Operating Officer of the Grand Bahama Power Company shares what the company is doing to restore consumer trust. This as she defends the Bahamian-led team against recent harsh criticism by the public. Shalia Rule has tonight's top story.
Since power unreliability on Grand Bahama has become a topic of discussion in recent months, management of the Grand Bahama Power Company has been heavily scrutinized for their leadership abilities amid frequent power outages as an all-Bahamian, mostly female team. However, Nikita Mullings, the Chief Operating Officer of the Grand Bahama Power Company, stands by her team and their level of expertise.
Commitment remains to deliver on safe, reliable, affordable, sustainable power, and I could not be more honored to lead this team of competent, talented, extraordinary Bahamians, most led by women.
According to Grand Bahama Power Company officials, establishing trust with their customers is one of their main objectives for the Road to Reliability campaign. The COO says that in the coming months, consumers will be able to share their concerns in small focus sessions hosted by the Grand Bahama Power Company.
We are also welcoming our registered account holders of the residential community to come in and participate in what will be coming in the future days of small focused sessions so we can hear and understand what are their concerns.
Last week, the Grand Bahama Power Company held a meeting with stakeholders where power company officials announced their $50 million capital investment plan that was highlighted in the rate plan proposal increase submitted by the Grand Bahama Power Company this year. This announcement left residents asking what will the money be used for? Well, Mulling says that this capital investment that will be collected by consumers over the next 3 years will be used for major maintenance at their plants.
It is also going to allow us to procure parts for those units to ensure if there is a breakdown, we're able to have those parts in inventory to execute the outage within a timely manner. It also allows us to add additional renewables onto the grid and add the battery energy storage, which smooths out the system.
For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Shalia Rule.
In other news, the Minister for Grand Bahama responding to a story published by the Tribune newspaper. According to the statement, comments made by the Chief Counselor of the City of Freeport District by Fraser Gibson mischaracterized the contribution made by the Honorable Ginger Moxie, Minister for Grand Bahama, to the House of Assembly on the Local Government Bill 2024. The story states that the Chief Counselor claimed that untruths were being told and cried shame on the Minister for Grand Bahama. The Minister for Grand Bahama categorically denies that there were any untruths during her contribution to the House regarding Wi-Fi in the parks. According to the statement, the Park Connect project was launched by the central government in 2022 through the Ministry of Economic Affairs to provide free public Wi-Fi to at least one park in constituencies throughout the Bahamas. However, the maintenance of the parks is critical to implementing this initiative. Parks that were not maintained obstructed the process, caused delays in the timeline, and hindered residents and students in those communities from accessing free Wi-Fi. Regarding the City of Freeport Council constructing and operating an Emergency Operations Center, EOC, in Grand Bahama, the release notes that Minister Moxie never, during her contribution, stated that approval needed to come from the Ministry for Grand Bahama. This approval would come from the central government through Disaster Risk Management, DRM, which gave no such approval. Neither was it approved by the Ministry of Works and Family Island Affairs. The statement concludes that the Ministry for Grand Bahama remains committed to open communication and collaboration with all relevant stakeholders. For the full release, log on to ZNS News on our Facebook page on Northern Service. In news from the labor front, the influx of foreign workers in the Bahamas is raising eyebrows as labor officials point to a critical shortage of skilled Bahamian employees in several industries. In this report, labor officials are assuring the public that rigorous checks are conducted before permits are granted, while urging local job seekers to take advantage of available opportunities.
What we have now is a shortage of workers and the Bahamian workers in the country. So it's important now then to consider, for companies to consider sourcing laborers or workers from a foreign country.
Concerns are mounting within the Bahamian workforce regarding the high number of foreign laborers in the country. Labor officials, however, say the issue stems from a shortage of skilled Bahamian workers across various industries.
For the time being, foreign workers are necessary, in particular certified persons in these industrial fields. From what I've been seeing and the information I've been getting is that a large number of certified engineers, pipe cutters, so on and so forth, in the industry are actually already employed.
Labor Director Howard Thompson explains that while foreign workers fill gaps in the labor market, the department takes proactive measures to ensure Bahamians are given priority for jobs they are qualified to perform.
And so we have a skills portal that we would check to see if there's a Bahamian who's registered with us for those particular skills. And if there are, then we would source the resumes to those companies.
The labor shortage isn't limited to industrial jobs. Officials note that skilled Bahamian workers are needed in other fields.
We also have a shortage of pharmacists, surveyors.
In response, the labor director is urging skilled and certified Bahamians to take advantage of available opportunities through the department's job portal, Job Seekers Bahamas. He also encourages the Bahamian public to contact the Department of Labor directly for assistance with employment placement.
As it stands, we have about 127,000 persons who have registered their skills. And we actually want to double that. We want to get it to about 250,000 by first quarter of next year.
Well, today marks 62 years since women voted for the first time in the country. It was a giant step for the Bahamas and a major victory for Bahamian women after Parliament passed legislation to give them that privilege. While there are many dedicated and committed Bahamian women who worked in the trenches to achieve the right to vote, women like Dame Doris Johnson, Mary Ingram, and so many more. However, today ZNS News had a chance to talk with former Assistant Labor Officer and later a hotelier, Mistress Cynthia Donaldson, about her role. She said that she was delighted to have played a supporting role.
Supporting them, I learned from them that, hey, we had to get together as women, stand together. It wasn't a political thing. It was a women's thing, where we felt like it was time that we have equal rights and say. Although at that time, every vote you had to have a piece of property. Well, most of us didn't own property, so we felt like that had to be scrapped. It was time to do away with that. And on the fact that, hey, we are Bahamian citizens, we should have the right to vote.
Ruby Ann Darling was the first woman to vote during the general elections of 1962. Additionally, she pointed out some of the challenges that they were forced to face those many years ago.
The struggle helped to propel us to realize, hey, we have to do more. Not that we don't want to respect men in those positions, but I think those of us who had the education and the qualifications, we should have equal rights. And at that time, sad to say, it wasn't that many of the minority men that was holding us back. It was, if I can say so, it was the more elite UBPs.
Her advice to young women and young Bahamians to treasure and see it as a privilege to have the opportunity to exercise the right to vote. It is her view that while so much has been accomplished over these years, there is so much more work to be done. She continues to plead for unity in order to make greater strides in this beautiful country.
And still to come.
When we come back, we continue to highlight women in policing. That story, sports, and more when we return.
when the McAllister family left on their Christmas vacation,
Did we miss the flight? No, you just made it.
they forgot one small thing.
Have yourself
I've a terrible feeling.
Christmas.
Did you lock up?
Let yourself be light.
Do we set the timers on the lights?
What else could we be forgetting?
Our troubles will be ours.
Kevin!
Home Alone.
Police in the northern suburbs are on the lookout for a pair of burglars who are calling themselves the Wet Bandits.
We know that you're in there.
It's Santa Claus and his elf.
Get off my property.
This is my house. I have to defend it. Hey, guys.
Yesterday, he was just a kid. But tonight, he's a home security system.
You guys give up or you're thirsty for more?
A family comedy without the family. Home Alone.
Are you here all alone?
I'm 8 years old. You think I'd be here alone? I don't think so.
It's the Battle of the Brains, 20 years strong and still going. Powered by Grand Bahama Power, fueling the future with scholarships and new opportunities.
I'm Leanna Johns. I'm from LAS, and I want to say thank you to Grand Bahama Power and to Buckeye for giving us this opportunity.
I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude to Grand Bahama Power Company and Buckeye for providing us the opportunity to get a scholarship.
The Battle of the Brains, where school pride meets genius.
Covering the news seems easy, but we put thought into what we're doing. The Bahamas Tonight Access Now, here to inform, educate, and entertain. A new type of newscast featuring social media trends, news from around the islands, interviews with the people you like, sports, weather, and fabulous entertainment. That's a Bahamas Tonight Access Now with Marcellus Hall and LaDon Davis. Live, starting September 16th. Beginning Monday, September 16th, it's the new lineup of ZNS News and Current Affairs, 6 p.m. It's What's Trending, Lifestyles in the Afternoon with Stacey Campbell-Marshall, 6:30. We head to the north for the Bahamas Tonight Northern Edition, 7 p.m. It's the Bahamas Tonight National Report, followed by the Bahamas Tonight Access, now at 7:30. Then at 8 p.m., your nightly news analysis show, The Rundown, with Clint Watson, and 11 p.m., the Bahamas Tonight at 11 with Royston Jones. It's a full lineup of the new ZNS, and it starts Monday, September 16th. Only the sun covers the Bahamas better.
Your number one team in the north. Only the sun covers the Bahamas better.
Welcome back. As we continue our Women in Policing series tonight, we spotlight Detective Sergeant Lakira Williams, the second in command of the Anti-Gang and Firearm Investigations Unit. Williams, the only female in her department, is breaking stereotypes about women being unable to handle the rigorous and demanding aspects of the job. She is out there removing weapons from the streets and doing so with selfless dedication. Here's her story.
In 2022 to combat the rise of gang activity on the island, the Anti-Gang and Firearm Investigations Unit has been working tirelessly to remove illegal weapons from off the streets and create safer communities. Detective Sergeant Lakira Williams takes us down this journey as an officer at the forefront of this critical mission. Inside this one right here for me. Detective Williams was both tactically and analytically equipped from her experience in previous departments, explains that since joining the newly established unit, she set her sights on strategically improving ways to combat the rise of the ongoing issues. We work sometimes wee hours in the morning because criminals don't sleep. So why should we sleep? We have to collect data. We have to go out and find crime because it's there. We just need to locate it. We have to understand trends, new things that are coming on block. As the only female in the department, she works alongside 3 other members and believes that while their numbers may be small, they are mighty in strength. Despite being surrounded by gang violence and dangerous weapons, she remains unafraid, stating that nothing intimidates her. She believes that with faith, she can do all things through Christ who strengthens her.
I need to know that my kids, my neighbors, my nieces, my nephews are able to sleep at night.
The detective shares that her biggest goal is to remove as many firearms from the streets as they are responsible for too many deaths. She also highlights that the Anti-Gang and Firearm Investigations Unit operates 24 hours a day, always ready and willing to serve whenever duty calls.
Just one station.
It's a remarkable story that you will see just on one station. A story of devastation, yet rebuilding bigger and better. This past weekend, residents of Freeport and Sweetings Key gathered at the restaurant and bar that is now reopened for the first time since Hurricane Dorian. Shalia Roll was there and filed this report.
The revitalization of Sweetings Key is evident as Winnie's Bayside Restaurant and Bar is reopening after 5 years. Residents gathering to take part in the fun activities.
Oh Lord Jesus, I give you time.
Winnie's Bayside Restaurant and Bar is now opened for business as family members took part in the official ribbon-cutting ceremony on Saturday. Bahamians traveling from near and far to commemorate this momentous occasion.
I'd like to thank everyone for coming so far. Some came from Abaco, some came from Freeport, and 4 other places, you know. We want to thank you for coming for this opening that's so special to us. You know, our family has worked hard. You know, we pushed through all troubles and tribulations to get things going. We give God thanks.
Excited as well, amen, as a resident from Sweetings Key, 17 years in local government, fighting, and to see a great accomplishment by Winnie's. Man, she deserves another big round of applause.
Residents indulging in good food, drinks, and activities is what was seen on Sweetings Key as the opening of this highly anticipated restaurant and bar opened its doors 5 years as the Key was devastated during Hurricane Dorian. Residents see its return as the resilience of the Key and will provide an economic boost.
I think so because a lot of us as tour guides, we thinking on bringing people in on a Saturday, on a Sunday, on a Friday, and you want your folks as you bring them in, they have a clean bathroom, they could eat some fresh seafood, we can take them to the beach and they can come back and get some good food, some good drinks, but it's clean, it's beautiful, and for us, this is a plus. This is
Brazilian. To see this today is, it's a happy moment for us. And so I come to show support.
I find it very important to be here, that to know that I'm a Grand Bahamian. If we look at the islands that are close to Freeport, they live and they breathe off of Freeport. So to support the older straight of Freeport is excellent. I'm East Grand Bahama man. I love East Grand Bahama. East Grand Bahama is the best place to be.
For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Shalia Roll.
Here's a check on your weekly Ask GBPC.
After a storm or hurricane, how long does it take for power to be restored?
Thanks for the question. It all depends on the extent of the damage. After Hurricane Dorian, we've seen customers with no water or wind damage restored within 5 to 7 days. After Hurricane Matthew, we've had customers where it took weeks to be restored due to damage to our transmission and distribution system, where our assets had to be rebuilt and reconstructed.
And that's a look at stories making news. Jay, tell us what's happening in sports.
Well, it's track and field season, and one school had a pretty good exciting sports day at the Grand Bahama Sports Complex.
All right, track is up next, but first, your check on the local weather forecast.
Tonight's weather forecast is brought to you by Royal Star Assurance.
'Cause it's so beautiful.
Are you ready?
ready for the hardest sports show on the market? It's called The Timeout. Sundays on the ZNet Television Network. In our first show, 4 decades of sports in the country.
Clint Watson has been the trusted voice of journalism for over 2 decades. He is your first choice for hard-hitting discussions, your best choice for current affairs issues and investigative journalism. It's time to start the journey of relentless journalism. It's time to start the journey of facts over fiction. It's time for the Rundown with Clint Watson here on ZNS, where only the sun covers the Bahamas better.
I have been coming to this island since I was 12 years old. It didn't take me long to realize the rich history it has here. When I bought this island in 2018, I fulfilled a lifelong dream. The goal is not only to preserve the memories I made over those years, but to make new ones and to give others the opportunity to do the same. As we go through this process, it has become clear to me, we aren't just rebuilding an island, we're reviving a legend.
Mario.
Hey, Dale, what's going on?
Have you seen ZNS new digital platforms?
No. Let me go check it out.
Good day, Bahamas. I'm Devontae Hanna, and this is ZNS Digital,
where we cater to your news and entertainment needs.
Are you a foodie? I thought so. Then look out for Digital Bites.
Shining a light on Bahamians and the good that they do, ZNS Digital is home to the sunshine.
Keeping up with the latest trends, our original content will keep you entertained.
Yeah, that's cool.
But have you seen the new website?
No, I didn't see it. Let me go look.
We're still your most trusted source for news and information.
That's ZNS Digital?
Yeah, that's ZNS Digital, the people station in your pocket.
Good evening, ladies and gents. I'm Jay Philippe, and welcome to Sports. Well, track and field season is officially here. The Sunland Stingers hosted its Sports Day recently. Let's head to the track. It was Sports Day for Sunland Stingers at the track, winning the under 15 meter with Anea Nesbitt.
I've been training very hard to do this, and I feel like I did good, and I feel like I could do better.
Katie Thompson was the under 17 girls 100 meter champion.
I just wanted to beat my time. And island sports, I just want to do better. Nationals, better. And maybe career stuff.
Tavares Morse will capture the under 17 for his title.
I just think that led me further. Let me do better. This really boosted my confidence.
Calvin McIntosh pushes for the under 20 boys 100 meter dash.
I pushed myself to come back in the race in first place.
And Robert Ramsey won the under 20 boys 400 meters.
My goal was to keep up with my opponents, and then when I reached the back square, just control my composure and work, run hard.
Next in sports scores from week 1 of the Air Out 5-on-5 Football League. The Wolves defeated the Bulldogs 29-28. No Mercy got the win against Arsonists 45-14. And Cold Hearts with the W 23-7 versus the Knights. And that's your check on sports. Your Facebook friend of the day is next. I'm Jay Philippe. As always, be blessed.
What does disability look like? In a busy airport terminal, at the check-in counter, at security checkpoints, or even in baggage claim? Passengers with hidden disabilities often go unnoticed. Globally, 1 in 7 persons have some form of a disability. 80% of those disabilities are non-visible. In an airport environment, workers are often unaware of hidden physical, mental, or neurological disabilities that some passengers live with. This can lead to frustration and a less than ideal travel experience. So, how do we make the invisible more visible? At LPIA, we've implemented the Sunflower Lanyard program. The lanyards are visual cues for airport workers to immediately identify passengers who might need additional assistance. NAD is teaming up with the National Commission for Persons with Disabilities and key stakeholders at LPIA to launch the internationally recognized initiative. We're joining more than 180 airports and 26 countries already in the program. NAD is the first organization in the Bahamas to recognize the Sunflower Initiative. It's a way to show our continued commitment to making LPIA a safe, welcoming, and inclusive airport for all. Passengers needing to secure a free Sunflower lanyard can email sunflower@nas.bs or call 1242-397-8600. For more information, visit www.nassauLPIA.com.
My real interest was basketball. I started playing basketball, as a matter of fact, with St. Bernard's team back in 1958 at the age of 13. And here I seemed to excel quite a bit. And again, my coach, which was Lou Adley, he just encouraged me on, and somehow I was able to perform against a team out of Miami. And I contributed pretty well, and I felt quite confident.
So this sort of gave you some motivation?
Sure did. Today, I must say that females are making a drive to the top. They are striving toward the top. Women now are beginning to lead instead of following. And this is something that I think it is good for our country, because there are so many females we've got that have the talent. And I think they feel more confident with a woman coaching them. So I think women are now beginning to lead instead of following, as I said previously.
The idea of taking swimming lessons to the Bahamian public was something that we thought was a great idea, and so we started Let's Swim Bahamas.
I've always been a learn to swim coach and a life-saving coach, and so this is now my turn to kind of really see learn to swim being developed.
Although we ran swift swimming for some 30 years and we offered Let's Swim lessons, we knew we were only touching a small percentage of the Bahamian public.
I enjoy the children and how happy and excited and joyful they are. I mean, some of them come from maybe hard homes. Maybe they're bullied at school. Who knows what they have? But when they come here, it's a very positive thing for them.
At the end of the day, more kids will be fulfilled, more kids will have a life-saving skill, and more kids will stay away from crime.
Crime-free.
Looks like me.
Do your part. Join the movement to a safer Bahamas.
Your number one team in the North. Only the sun covers the Bahamas better.
And that's going to do it for us here in the North. I'm Ramiko Knowles. Thanks so much for tuning in. Here's a live look at the Bahamas tonight, coming your way next.
The news is brought to you by BTC. For the fastest speed internet, get BTC Fiber. Sign up for a fiber bundle and get a $500 Visa gift card. Visit a retail store to sign up today.
First at 11, the family of the slain 12-year-old girl sparking public outrage seeking to raise funds for her funeral. And more details on the debt for nature swap to the tune of over $120 million in accessible funds. Also, a road safety initiative with international backing that's hoped to curb the number of rising traffic fatalities. The Bahamas Tonight at 11 starts now. Good evening, everyone. I'm Royson Jones, and this is the Bahamas Tonight at 11. Thank you so much for tuning in. Police Commissioner Clayton Fernando releasing a statement tonight confirming that Royal Bahamas Police Force Chief Superintendent Elvis Curtis and Royal Bahamas Defense Force Chief Petty Officer Darren Roker were arrested in Florida yesterday and will be transported to federal courts in New York for trial. Commissioner Fernando indicated that the officers have been charged with conspiracy to import cocaine, possession and use of firearms, and firearms conspiracy. Additionally, Sergeant Prince Albert Simonet, 2373, a pensioner of the Royal Bahamas Police Force, has also been named in the indictment, along with other Bahamian nationals. Commissioner Fernando announced that Sergeant Simonet will be suspended from duty effective immediately. As more information becomes available, updates will be provided to the public. This is a developing story that we will continue to follow very closely. Police need your help tonight to locate 25-year-old Donovan Cox. The Sugar Plum Street Pinewood Gardens resident is wanted for murder. He stands at 5 feet 9 inches tall with a dark brown complexion and is of slim build. If you can assist police locate 25-year-old Donovan Cox of Sugar Plum Street, Pinewood Gardens, please contact the Criminal Investigation Department at 502-9991 or 9992-911 or your nearest police station. A public appeal for help. Adriel Moxie's mother is counting on your support to come up with some $15,000 for the 12-year-old's burial. As widely reported, the Anatole Rogers student was found dead last Thursday evening after being reported missing. The autopsy, completed just today, has ruled the cause of death as asphyxia due to strangulation. That report also confirming that the child was sexually assaulted and found with internal injuries. Police are expecting to place a suspect before the courts within the shortest possible time. Meanwhile, several funeral homes have offered to bury Adriel at no cost to the family, but her mother, Sasha Moxie, has rejected the offers, contending that she doesn't know who to trust. Police Commissioner Clayton Fernando has also disclosed that the police force and Restview Memorial Funeral Home have come to an agreement to cover the fees for the funeral. However, it remains to be seen whether Adriel's family will accept the offer.
I would like to recommend to them that at least once a month going into the new year 2025, at least once a month, whether it's at the beginning or at the end, and that we move in every area of this Commonwealth of the Bahamas on the path and have a day of prayer.
In other news tonight, a groundbreaking financial move aims to address the nation's debt while protecting its national treasures. The $300 million debt refinancing initiative ties economic reform to marine conservation, setting a global example. It is the 5th such debt for nature swap in the world, according to AP. Devonta Hanna explains.
Tonight, innovation meets balancing fiscal responsibility with environmental stewardship as the Davis administration unveiled its plan to refinance $300 million in external debt this week by reducing interest payments and saving an estimated $124 million over 15 years.
Many times I've stood up here and talked to you about climate change. I've talked to you about the increasing temperatures that we're going to be facing. We've talked about the impacts that the corals are presently experiencing. All of these have an economic knock-on effect on these resources. We're not seeking to impose taxes on individuals. We're not seeking to take out additional loans to address it. But what we are seeking to do is to refinance debt that we already have, to utilize those savings to address those things.
That's Rochelle Newbold, director of the Prime Minister's Climate Change and Environmental Advisory Unit. She says, as just the world's 5th debt-to-nature deal ever, the refinancing loan from Standard Chartered Bank was struck with the support of global partners. The Nature Conservancy Conservancy and the Inter-American Development Bank. It is set to create an extra $8 million a year to support organizations like the Bahamas National Trust, Department of Marine Resources, and the Forestry Unit.
We would need to have proper and true data that shows where there are gaps, where there are deficiencies, and how those things would be addressed. That's where the first tranche of funding would be applied.
The Bahamas joins countries like Belize and Barbados in adopting the plan, and officials are hopeful the move will not only protect the environment, but also boost the nation's economic resilience.
The country needs to understand what's the use and what's the best use of its oceans. What's the best use of our marine resources? Do we want to keep it for tourism? Do you want me to do bioprospecting? Don't quote me on that. I'm just saying, though, that there are a number of different uses, and this marine spatial plan is then going to say to the government, this is the best use.
Overall, the Bahamas hold some $5.7 billion in external debt. Half, according to the Prime Minister, can be attributed to the impacts of catastrophic storm Hurricane Dorian. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Devontae Hanna.
Prime Minister the Honourable Philip Davis paying a brief visit to Abaco earlier today. He was there for attending the ribbon cutting and blessing of the new Family Island Air Limited facilities in Treasure Key. The fixed-based operator site sits on more than 5 acres of land adjacent to the Treasure Key Airport. It looks to provide storage, maintenance, and mechanical services for both private and commercial aircraft. Mr. Davis praised the efforts of Family Island Air Limited CEO Kristen Jones and says the opening of this new facility represents an economic reawakening of North Abaco post-2019's Hurricane Dorian. He also reaffirmed the government's commitment to the project, expressing further optimism of what it will be like once fully complete and operational. The facility will be able to fuel aircraft in just a matter of days. Other services will come on stream in a phased approach. We'll have much more on the Prime Minister's remarks and this special day for North Abaco coming up in a later newscast. The British High Commission has announced that starting January 8, 2025, all Bahamians, Americans, Canadians, and other nationals traveling to the United Kingdom without a visa will require pre-approval to travel using the UK's new electronic travel authorization scheme. Applications for ETA approval are now open starting today and can be accessed via the UK ETA app or through the gov.uk website. ETA approval is not required for travel to the Turks and Caicos Islands or other UK territories. British nationals or those with British, Irish, or British overseas passports also do not require ETA approval. ETA approval is needed for travelers landing on the 8th of January, meaning approval will be needed for passengers leaving on the night flights from the 7th of January 2025. Early applications for the ETA are encouraged as applicants refuse an ETA will need to apply for a UK visa instead. The next visa application center will be open in Nassau on December 16th. 46 in 2021, 59 in 2022, 51 last year, and so far this year, 61. Sadly, those increasing figures reflecting the number of traffic fatalities here in the Bahamas. And as the Works Minister, the Honourable Clay Sweeting, painfully reminds us, behind each number, a life, a family member, friend, and visitor. The Minister underscoring the need for comprehensive traffic safety measures built on 3 pillars: engineering, education, and enforcement. And that's exactly the thinking behind a road safety initiative funded by the Caribbean Development Bank with the expertise of the International Road Assessment Program. According to the Minister, here's the first component comprises.
Surveying 609 kilometers or 378 miles of road networks in New Providence, Grand Bahama, and Eleuthera. To support this effort, the civil design team within the ministry has acquired a new state-of-the-art equipment for our survey vehicles. This equipment will play a crucial role in collecting data and collaborating effectively with IRAP and the CDB's assessment team to identify and implement necessary improvements. Using IRAP's globally recognized STAR safety rating system, we aim to evaluate our roads and, more importantly, develop a prioritized capital investment plan to enhance road safety. This system, which rates roads from 1 star, which is least safe, to 5 star, recognized as the safest, will help us address critical safety concerns with data-driven solutions.
And attaining 3 stars, he says, is the minimum.
Our technical team has been working closely with CIMIC a traffic survey consultant from Mexico engaged under the CDB grant, and over the past 2 weeks, they have completed surveys in New Providence and will move to Grand Bahama shortly. In addition to these surveys, we will collect and analyze historical accident data with assistance from the Ministry of Transport, the Ministry of Health and Wellness, and the Royal Bahamas Police Force. This is a collaborative effort which will help us to better understand the trends and to tailor solutions to our unique challenges.
And speaking of roads, once filled with potholes, Exuma roads are well on the way to being resurfaced by March 2025. Our Daniel Dean hopped on a flight to the island to get a first-hand look at how things are progressing at the hands of Bahamas Striping Group of companies.
Manchester native Christopher Tipton has 12 years of skin in the striping game and was brought over to the Bahamas for the first time to work on the project and share his wealth of knowledge and experience with the Bahamian team.
Someone's come approached me and said, would you like to come over? Offered me a contract, showed me all the details, and went through months and months of paperwork, and yeah, ended up here.
The lead striper says everything is different yet better here in the Bahamas. The weather is more conducive to road work, the country is beautiful, and most importantly, his trainees are curious and hard workers.
The easiest part for me, I think, is just marking out. But the hard part is just making sure that the work is laid out properly, because we're high based on quality. Communication is key, and safety is key. So we always look out for each other to make sure that we're on one accord.
In recent times, the Department of Labor has complained young men are becoming lazy and are not as inclined to work jobs that require they get down and dirty. Stephen Sweeting, a recent recruit in his 20s, is an exception, having put a pin in his own striping business to build on his experience.
It's for the greater good. The knowledge and information I'm learning right now, it take me years learning on my own.
ZNS stopped driver by and 68-year Exuma resident Lester McKinsey, who had one word for the previous condition of the island's roads.
Terrible.
With a Ministry of Works background, he remembers it was a struggle to please Exumians with maintenance, and that the work BSGC is doing is a game changer.
Although we don't have light on every pole, but because of what they do now, because of the road improvements, in the night it's much easier to drive.
The street light substitute, he says, makes night driving simpler, the cat-eye, an iridescent powder sprinkled on the white stripes to better illuminate the path. The company is back and forth between Exuma and Eleuthera, and in short order will announce the next island to get a facelift. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Danielle Dean.
Still to come, marathon seniors faded to a luncheon. You're watching the Bahamas Tonight at 11. More news in a moment.
In the chaos of our daily lives, it's easy to be caught up in the rush. But when you're behind the wheel, remember, rushing can lead to disaster. Don't rush. Take your time. Remember, your life and others depends on it. Slow down. Stay alert and arrive alive. Because in the race of life, it's not about how fast you get there, but how safely.
This message is brought to you by Commonwealth Bank, leader in personal banking services.
You've got termites and need to get rid of them fast? Trust Rentokil Initial. With over 60 years experience in the Bahamas, the global brand, training, and expertise can't be beat. Only Rentokil Initial gives you a 3-year warranty and payment plan options on termite fumigation. No one can match the range of treatments we offer, such as fumigation, pre-construction treatments, termite monitoring, and more. No matter where you are in the Bahamas, we will come to you. When it comes to complete termite eradication, there's only one name, Rentokil Initial.
Chapter 1 Bookstore at University of the Bahamas believes in the power of words. They have your next great adventure or that affordable textbook you need. You can go anywhere with a good book. To the library, to have coffee in a cafe, to the pool, to a cozy chair at home. And when you finish your book, you can browse for more good books from Chapter 1. Chapter 1 Bookstore, open Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., Saturday, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m., or shop online all day, every day at chapter1books.store.
This portion of the news is brought to you by Bahamas Striping Group of Companies.
Seniors in the Marathon constituency treated to a lunch today by their Member of Parliament, Lisa Ramming, at the heartwarming Thanksgiving event filled with dancing, laughter, and gift-giving. Some of the outstanding seniors were awarded for their unwavering steadfastness, commitment, and spirit of loyalty.
Some of them don't mind them looking young. Some of them being installed with 25, 30 years. They look young, right, Virginia? Some of them look young. And so this here is one of the medallion that all of the stalwarts usually get. And so I know some of those in Marathon didn't get one as of yet. So I went and searched from our party, and they're going to be robed with this today. This is, some of them was it for 30 years and haven't gotten this. This is like their award.
Leading women in various disciplines, including politics, the unions, health, and education, today paused to reflect on the advancement of women in the Bahamas at the National Women's Week Empowerment Luncheon. They came together under the theme Empowered Women, Refined, Reskilled, Resilient, and Resolute. Felicity Darville was there and filed this report.
On November 26, 1962, women voted for the first time in the Bahamas and changed the course of history. Women of the Bahamas have always been the cornerstone of nation building. That from Minister of Social Services, Information and Broadcasting, the Honorable Miles LaRota, at the National Women's Empowerment Luncheon.
As we celebrate National Women's Week, I extend the clarion call for women to pursue leadership positions. Take what is rightfully yours. Soar like eagles, even in the midst of the odds. I remind you on this occasion that there are no limits to what you can do. Mahatma Gandhi said it best, be the change that you want to see in the world. We are here to support you on this journey.
Permanent Secretary Fedra Ramming Turnquest applauded the work of the Department of Gender and Family Affairs in bringing together women of amazing caliber to pray, reflect, and celebrate.
You are being wife, mother, friend, confidant, caregiver, the loving support to children, and your spouse or significant other. Oftentimes, you place yourself on the back burner. I dare say that if I had my own dictionary, all that I just described, I would place next to the word woman.
Mrs. Anne-Marie Davis, Office of the Spouse, encouraged women to push through every trial, as overcoming them will lift them to another level.
Today we celebrate the capacity of women to rise, to adapt, and stand firm in the face of challenges, in the face of wiles and temptations of the enemy. We are reminded of the refining process, much like the purification of gold. Through trials and adversities, God shapes us into vessels of honor.
Mistress Davis left some poignant words for these women of excellence. Be refined by grace, reskilled for impact, resilient in faith, and resolute in our progress. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Felicity Darville.
And sealed away for 25 years, for the first time ever, the Bahamas has a national time capsule filled with the vivid and rich history of the Bahamas. Young people, military cadets, carefully carried the capsule containing valuable pieces of Bahamian history. Governor General, Her Excellency, the Most Honorable Dame Cynthia Pratt, was there to participate in the concealment. The National Independence Secretariat and the Antiquities, Monuments and Museums Corporation working together to ensure these treasures, including artwork, craft, photographs, newspaper clippings, cookbooks, and more, are properly preserved until the encasement is broken in 2048 during the 75th anniversary of independence. Independence Secretariat Chair, Ambassador Her Excellency Leslie Miller Bryce noted that the significance of this momentous occasion. She says there's a special note in the capsule for the 75th Independence Committee. Minister of Education, the Honorable Glenys Hannah Martin, speaking on behalf of the Prime Minister, the Honorable Philip Davis. She noted that the capsule is being encased on the very ground where the Bahamas first gained independence in 1973, adding that the event allows for the preservation of our history and legacy for future generations to observe and learn about what it means to be Bahamian. Marcellus Hall has a look at what's coming up in sports. Marcellus?
Coming up in Sports for Tonight, we'll tell you how Coach Yo leads her team to victory. The details ahead in sports.
Just what is it that you want to do? And we want to have a good time. We want to be free to do what we want to do.
A decade ago, the Bahamas Striping Group of companies was birthed out of a passion to change the way we travel. From only a $5,000 grant, the tenacity and work ethic has propelled BSGC to one of the leading road management companies in the Caribbean. We pride ourselves on going the extra mile where others won't, through the use of our state-of-the-art equipment and our certified team. Although the success is commendable, the road has been long. Yet, the mission continues in striving to be a world-class organization ran by Bahamians for Bahamians. With the help of our experienced and hardworking team, we at the Bahamas Striping Group of companies are committed to making a difference, one road at a time.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Marcel Assault. This is your ZNS Total Sports Check late night edition, starting you off with some hoops news as Coach Yo and her Ole Miss Lady Rebels on the floor for the first time at the Bahama Convention Center, taking part in the Bahama Hoops event. As it was, they faced off against Boston College. Our Amajal Knowles was there. He tells us more.
Well, it's not exactly a first homecoming, but like they say, the third time is the charm. Well, that McPhee McCowan and her Ole Miss Lady Rebels back in the Bahamas for the third time this year, competing at the Bahama Hoops Women's Championship. For Coach Yo and her squad, they would open things up against the Boston College Golden Eagles. Early on, the Lady Rebs would look every part of a top 25 team, stifling the Eagles on the defensive end to establish a 41-23 lead at the half. In the second, things would be pretty much identical, as that lead would only balloon. And as for Yo and the Lady Rebs, they would cruise to the 92-55 win.
Just grateful to be back home in the 242. We always try to represent. This was not initially on the schedule for us to make this trip to come back home, but when Bahama Hoops had an opening, they thought enough of what we've done, the fact that they know I love my country, to ask us to come back home. So it meant a lot. It meant a lot to play Rima. She's been working really hard, and I know the Bahamian people have been wondering how she's been coming along, and as you can see, her best basketball is ahead of her. So.
And for Bahamian sophomore forward Rayma Collins, she would enjoy a pretty sweet homecoming in front of family and friends as well. She would post 5 points, 5 boards, 2 assists, 1 block, and 1 steal, all in just 5 minutes of play. We got up with the proud product of Prince Will and St. John's post-game.
It feels great. You know, the home support is always a great thing, but I treat it as a regular game, just another game, and just take care of business. You know, I heard all my family cheering, so that gave me the push and the energy to play as hard as I can, and I play for them always.
And for the team, they would have a very special guest in the locker room after the big win, the nation's chief Prime Minister, the Honorable Philip Davis, who gave them a few words of inspiration and took a few photos with the team. As for the action on the hardwood, the Lady Rebels now face easily their toughest test in this early part of the season as they await the second-ranked Yukon Huskies in the title game. That's set for Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. at Bahama. For ZNS Total Sports, I'm Amajal Knowles.
Thanks, Amajal. Well, moving right into some more basketball. This time, our senior men's national basketball team taking on Team USA in Washington. FIBA America Cup qualifiers going on for 2025. Bahamas playing shorthanded, only 9 players suiting up. But they would try to hang as tough as they could. First half, pretty good. Team USA, though, would hit 15 threes in the ball game, pulling away down the stretch to win comfortably by the final score of 97-74. Tavares Miller leading the way for the Bahamas. He had 20 points, 10 rebounds. Sammy Hunter added 14. Anderson Jamison Gordon, he had 12, and the Bahamas now 1-3, in case you're wondering, in the qualifiers so far. And as they try to bounce back, they have 2 more games left, one against Cuba, one against the United States. Again, they'll need to win both of those games if they want to have a chance to qualify for the 2025 America Cup. Now, the Courtyard Brawl boxing card taking place this past weekend. Much to the delight of local boxing fans, the card did take place at Fusion Superplex and featured fighters coached by Misha Major and Jermaine Choo Choo Mackey's blue team. As it was, he won 5 of the 6 matches, talking about Jermaine Mackey and the blue team, and they cut the bragging rights at the end of the day. Organizers dubbing the card a success and already making plans to hold another event early next year. And that's it. You look at sports here on this Tuesday. Our Tuesday weather just ahead. Stay with us.
Ready to score big on unbeatable savings? Tune into What's Trending's Deals and Steals with Ace Hardware every Wednesday at 6 p.m. starting in November. Save on items from power tools to paint, lawn care to Christmas decor. They've got the essentials you need to tackle any project at prices that can't be beat. Dive into their special offers up to 50% off select items. Need a new grill for those backyard barbecues? How about a fresh coat of paint to revamp your space? They've got you covered. That's every Wednesday at 6 p.m. starting in November. Don't miss out on Deals and Steals with Ace Hardware.
You're going to get more to be thankful for from BTC this November. They're teaming up with What's Trending to give away a $200 Visa gift card and a Bahamas Air voucher. Just email the latest paid receipt from either your BTC postpaid or fiber internet account to saleshq@znsbahamas.com, and you will be entered to be one of the lucky 2 winners whose names will be announced on What's Trending on November 28th, Thanksgiving Day.